And here he was, the fastest qualifier, too, today.
Bit of tough luck for Brian.
Yeah. Now, Rick Wilson served notice. Well, not Rick Wilson, but Rick Elliott served notice early last night. He had a special emergency drivers meeting, said, fellas, none of this, and none of this, or you're out of it. And he served notice quickly on Brian Southgate of North Battleford, who's now relegated to start in last place when the feature race indeed starts.
Well, Rick does a real good job of keeping control of the races. He doesn't let the drivers dictate to him how to flag. He keeps control of the operation and does an excellent job.
Okay, the next race will be the street stock consolation race. Now we've had the top 15, now we'll have the bottom 13, I believe. Let's just take a look. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, we had 13 cars, or 14, I think. So we had 29 cars, in fact, running today.
That's right. When we run our heat races, we divide the field up, and we run so many into the winners race, and the rest of the fellows get to run for the checkered and the consolation 15-lap race.
There's a shot of the next race. As we can tell, they've made some great improvements here to Bridgecity Speedway. If you haven't been out here yet, and you enjoy motorsport, I'll tell you, this is the best, probably the classiest racing in Western Canada right now, barring, of course, Calgary. They got that brand new, gorgeous
beautiful facility
speedway there.
Bridgecity Speedway in Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for the compliments on our operation here, Bob. We're very proud of Bridgecity Speedway. We're a quarter mile north and 2 miles east of the forestry farm in Sutherland. We invite all our race fans to come out and join us Saturday evenings, Sunday afternoons in May and September for stock car racing.
Saturday night racing has sure caught on big at Saskatoon. They were a little bit worried about what how the fans would react, because there's so much going on all the time in Saskatoon, but we've been averaging great crowds all season long.
Very, very pleased with the fan support we've received here at Bridgecity Speedway. We're working very hard to put on a good show to make sure the fans get what they come for, and judging by the response, they like what they see.
Okay, to car number 4 there is Fred Van Landuit. Is that the way you pronounce it?
I think it's Van Landite.
He'll be bringing up the rear in the losers consolation. And of course, as usual, the slow cars are in the front, and the fastest cars are at the back. That's right. Correct?
Any car that doesn't make time in, however, starts from the back of the field.
Well, there's a car that didn't time in. I believe that's the one that didn't time in, and that's the 29th car that we were wondering where it came from. See Darrell Levine in car number 17 is there.
Yes, we
middle of the pack.
Trevor Affelt in 65, that's the Ford Mustang. The 99 running the Bill Elliott color scheme, that's Gary Swikinson from Prince Albert and 78 Chevelle.
There's that Mustang there, that one of the 2 Fords are here today. That's Michael Pethick of Elstone, a 71 Mustang, and those Mustangs still a class-looking car, aren't they? Always a classy car, especially the Bosses. They were something else to look at.
They were a nice car.
And that's probably a Boss that we're looking at right there. At one time, that may have been a Boss 302 or a Boss 390, who knows? There goes Reg Lindgren, is it? Taking them around the track?
That's right, the used car sales manager from Inns Toyota. Inns Toyota, great supporter and friend of stock car racing here in Saskatoon. Reg Lindgren entering cars in the Thunder class, in fact, Bob.
A pair of 7s and a pair of 4s to lead off the way. Number 77, Dave Allard, or Allard of Bigger in a 67 Buick. Number 44 is Gilbert McKinnon of Saskatoon in a 68 Pontiac Beaumont.
Looks like 69 inside in the second row. That's Alan Dybart out of Rosetown. Outside of him is car 25, Mark Wilk out of Saskatoon.
Number 99 is Gary Swikinson of Prince Albert in a 78 Chevelle.
Car 41 is Rod McEachran, making his first appearance of the season here at Bridgecity Speedway.
Without sponsorship, he just took it upon himself, pulled the car out of the garage. Who knows, maybe it's his wife's car, if he's married, eh?
Well, maybe he wanted to cut down on the shopping, who knows.
Talking to Darrell Levine during the break, they dropped their front end 1.5 inches for today, and he said it's working great. Esther Young was driving it in the mechanics race earlier today, and said handled great in the second groove. Okay, here they're off. 15 laps of street stock consolation. Now, these are the slower cars in the field. You'll see them all back in the street stock feature race for Village Auto Sales later in this afternoon. Wow, they're really bunched up bad as they come coming into corner number 4 for the first time down the stretch. 44 and number, what's that, 60? Can't see the number. Looked like number 69, though, and that would have been Alan Diebert of Rosetown in a Chevelle. Going 3 abreast down that.
Bob Bertolo in 66, that white Chevelle, hanging on to third spot, but he's getting some pressure now from 25 on the outside.
Dave, you had an excellent analogy of what it's like to go around this track at a speed averaging about 58 to 60 miles an hour, coming around like this, and you said it's like going around the circle on East Street East at 49 or 50 miles an hour, 3 abreast.
That's right, with cars just a couple inches from your door. Give you some idea what these fellows are experiencing. Please, folks, don't try that.
Absolutely don't try it.
Do your racing right here at Bridgecity Speedway. Come on out, join our Thunder class, or Three-Star class, whatever you'd like.
Let's not kid ourselves. These fellas are professional drivers. They don't get paid like professionals, but they are, in fact, professionals. The way they handle these machines, they get out of situations, they keep them on this third of a mile, and they go down the straight at 80 miles an hour. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Number 44 just gets taken out. 41 just gets taken out, and I'm wondering, I guess that was self-caused. There were no black flags out for Rick Elliott.
Well, that reminded me of the Danny Sullivan spin in the Indy race last year with 360 and right underway. The same thing happened there with Rod McKeckern in car 41.
Well, that puts him to the back of the pack. And what have we got going here? We've got numbers 55, 69, and 17. Darrell Levine in his Firebird making a charge for second place. And yes, he's got it. Passing number 69 on the inside. Number 55, Tim Brooks. Now, has he been lapped, or is he, in fact, in front of the pack?
55 is your leader.
That's interesting. Where did he come from?
Tim Brooks out of Bigger, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, but where did he come from in the pack? Because I didn't see him in the front.
Well, he was lined up in about 6th position. And
Tim Brooks of, what is it, Rosetown, did you say?
From Bigger.
Got a heck of a lead over Darrell Levine, and then number 42 there is Noel Jensen, and he smacked a bumper last night.
Yes.
He didn't know if he'd be back, but he's back.
Another dedicated racer that worked well into the early hours of the morning to get ready.
Number 69, Alan Diebert. We hope that's right. It might be Diebert, but I would think it's Diebert of Rosetown. The smell of burning rubber and oil and gas. Oh, there goes Rod McKeckern out again. He's probably feeling like a Thunder car driver right now. That's the second time he's been on the loop-de-loo after this race. Okay, we've completed 8 laps of this 15-lap consolation race.
So Darrell Levine in car 17 is really running quite well. His car is really...
He is very pleased. He's all smiles today. He says, boy, if I could come in there and stay in the top 5, he's happy.
The game competitor tries very hard week after week.
Yeah.
Or now it's every second week.
Dedicated bunch of racers out here. Of course, everybody in the crews, and of course their spouses. I know in the case of the Eby family, Liz is part of his pit crew, and
yes,
she works with a monkey wrench just as good as Wally does.
Oh, yes. Well, the wives and families of these racers contribute a lot just by allowing the fellas to get out and pull wrenches to keep these cars running.
Well, Brian Wilson is number 97. It's the same thing. He's got a son, 2 daughters, and his wife, Goofy, who all help out, contribute in their ways to his success. Oh, number 77 just went for a spin. Dave Allard of Bigger. He's off on quarter number 3, trying to get back into the race. Let's look at our leaders as we come into the final couple of laps here.
Car 55 is still...
Take a look here. Yeah, 55, 17, and 42 in that order. 55, of course, the car driven by Tim Brooks of Bigger. 17, Darrell Levine, and 42 again is Noel Jensen in a 442 Oldsmobile.
Something to keep in mind, folks, is when you're having a race such as we are here between 17 and 42 per second spot, they're actually concerned with each other and allow the leader actually to gain distance on them. If they'd hook up and run together, they could probably close that gap.
Yeah.
It's one thing to catch a car, Bob. It's quite another to get around them.
For sure. Oh, we had a bumper thumper there. His number 25 ran into the back of number 99. But everything seems to work out all right. There's your leader, number 55 on the screen right now. Tim Brooks, a Bigger in a 69 Chevelle. 1 lap to go, and number 66 starts to skid out of control as he passes the start-finish line. Well, there it is, number 55, your winner. And let me see, the rest of the crew, it's got to be, Darrell Levine's got to be, whoa, look, there's the car that's going to have some problems.
It looks
we had a crash just as we came to the finish line. 77 ran...
Noel Jensen, car 42, rubbed right along the guardrail.
Let's see how that affects the final outcome here. Whoa, and that car, number 42, is a mess. Can we get a shot of that Fern as he pulls out onto the first corner, number 42? His back end is completely crushed.
Oh, my.
And that'll be too bad for Noel because he may have problems. Although he's rolling on his own and there's no smoke coming out of his machine, he may have trouble come the street stock feature race. Winnings, on that, number 55, and then we had number 66. Oh, we're doing an inquiry here. We're waiting for the official finish on that because of what happened at the finish line. We're still not sure who finished second. I would think Darrell Levine finished second.
I would look from our vantage point that Levine had the edge on Noel Jensen, but it's hard to tell. We're not in line with the start-finish line.
But there's no doubt about it that Tim Brooks will come away winning this one. He's not coming around for his checkered flag to go around the track, so...
Of course, we'd just like to remind the folks, Bob, that as we call the races here, is strictly unofficial. The lap counters and the club officials are, of course, the final say. But we call the races as we see them, but we are by no means the official.
Well, we can't be considered official.
Well, you sort of look official to me, Mr. Nicolay.
I'll tell you, coming up, we've got the Thunder feature. We've got the 3 big races coming up, and boy, we're going to have an exciting finish to this afternoon. 15 laps of Thunder cars for travel right in Martinsville. Ryan McElwee, you can see they're lining up right now. Every Thunder car here today will be racing, and I believe we've got 15 entered. Let's take a look, and we just better go to page 3 here. There has been a change. Number 44, the vehicle of Mel Barry, has been bought by John Taranich. How many you got? 15? 18?
Looks like I counted 18 there.
All right.
Yes, John Taranich picking up that car from Mel Barry and now owning and driving the car in the feature today.
Okay, I'll get the official on that race. It was 55, then number 42, and then number 17. So...
Noel Jensen did?
Yeah, Noel Jensen managed to get second place and then get squashed.